guys, we're back. So in this lesson we're gonna cover UI frameworks. Okay, so UI frameworks are a little bit different than JavaScript frameworks. JavaScript frameworks are primarily just for that, for JavaScript itself, like Angular, React, and Vue. Those are the three horsemen or whatever of the apocalypse. I think there were four, but this case is three now, right? I guess jQuery could be the fourth one, but he's the slowest one. He's the one in the back that not much power to him yet. Yeah, jQuery kind of died out a little bit. All right, so now UI frameworks, they are a little bit bigger in terms of coverage, but they're not as focused in JavaScript as JavaScript frameworks are. Okay, so UI frameworks are, for example, like Bootstrap or Material UI or UI Kit. So these guys, they basically build a boilerplate where you can use components that are already built for you in order to create like a nav bar or a button. I got something in my tooth. It's weird because I haven't eaten anything recently, or maybe I'm just imaginary. Anyway, so yeah, so we're gonna do that, right? If without the UI framework like Bootstrap, for example, which is the one that we're going to use, we will have to create everything from scratch, and it would take a lot longer. So what they do is they create these components, and then you can grab the component and just copy and paste it, and it will already give you some kind of a starting ground. That's why it's called a boilerplate, because you're not supposed to just use Bootstrap as it is and just leave it alone, because then every website will look exactly the same. You want to make sure that you have your own styling on top of it, and that you can move things around the way you want it to use, and just use it to get you started, but don't rely on it on being like the sole source of styling or the sole source of design. Okay, all right, so how we're gonna do this? So first of all, I wanted to show you the website for it. So sorry about that. Let's open up a new tab here, and let's go to Bootstrap. Okay, just like that, and it's already there. So I am going to click on it and show you a little bit about it. So if you see here, we're currently working on the 5.1 version. It's the latest one, and that's the one you're going to be using. So if you go into the download, you could essentially download all of the files and serve them directly from your source. You could put them in your assets folder, for example, and then all you have to do is just basically reference that location inside your assets folder. But the problem with that is that whenever you build your application to send it to your hosting company, you're going to have to send Bootstrap with you as well. Okay, also the problem with that is that whenever it upgrades to the next level, to the next 5.2 for example, or 6.0 or something like that, whenever they make it, then you're gonna have to re-download these files and replace them in your application, and then rebuild and send back over to your hosting company. Now if you use your npm packages, you can easily update by just either letting them update by themselves or doing an npm update, and it will just update, you know, seamlessly. You still will have to do a build and everything else, but you won't have to serve them inside. You don't have to actually manually replace files. Or you can do a CDN. Now a CDN is a little different. A CDN is like a cloud system, right? They have Bootstrap in this cloud system, and you will connect to it via this link over here. So what happens is that they will be the ones that will be updating the Bootstrap files over there, and all you have to do is just basically point to that location and let them do all the upgrading. So this is my preferred way for whenever I'm building something straight up HTML. But in this case, we're doing package manager, so we're gonna do it with a package manager because that's the preferred way when you deal with frameworks. Okay, All right, so well, actually, let's just, before we do that, let's just talk a little bit more about Bootstrap and what it has. So obviously, I'm not gonna go through all of this. That's all on you. You have to do your homework. But if you look at the components here, you're gonna see, for example, breadcrumbs here, and it shows you already breadcrumbs and the HTML for it. Okay, if you go to buttons, you're gonna see all the different types of buttons depending on what use they will have and how to use them, and their colors and all that stuff will basically depend on this class that you use. And just pretty much for everybody, it's going to be that way. Cards, which we'll probably be using, it's the same thing, just like this. You can use a card like that with an image in it if you use this type of code like that. So this is what I mean. They have a great amount of components that you can use out of the box. Now let's say you don't like Bootstrap, right? For some reason you don't like Bootstrap, and that's okay. They have Material UI, which actually Angular has its own Material UI, and I would recommend using the Material UI that is built for a specific framework. So like React has its own Material UI React, or React Material, something like that, and Angular has Angular Material. So if you're going to use Material, then this is where you will go to Material Angular IO, and then you can see here on the Get Started, it'll tell you how to add Angular Material and things like that, and then how to add it to your how to add a component from the Material UI into your app component, so that you can use it eventually, just like this, and etc. etc. Now the components is basically just about the same as Bootstrap. They have also the same thing. So buttons, where is it? Buttons. So they have all of these ways of doing buttons. They do have a little bit more variety. Like they have these fat buttons or the mini fat buttons. I do like those a lot. And this is how you would use them. So a matte button, or a matte raise button, or a matte fat button, like that. Okay, so there are many ways that you can use this thing. And another one that I like a little bit that I wanted to talk about is UIKit. UIKit Angular. I didn't know they had one for Angular specific. Yeah, I don't think there is. That was weird. Anyway, so so you go to get UIKit right here, and then you get this. So if you go to the Get Started, then you will see here, actually this one looks a little different than the one. This one looks either older, version 2. Which one? I always use a different one. Maybe they have a new one and I didn't know about it. Let me see here in my little files. Interesting. Look at that. I just learned something. They do have a new one. So yeah, so I've been using, they even have UIKit 3 that they're working on. That's the one that I use. Okay, so I am using the new one. Alright, so sorry about that. That's this is how we do it. This is the old UIKit. Okay, make sure you click on UIKit 3. That's the one that I use because I just referenced. See, this is the one that I was just using right now, and in another website. So yeah, just come over here, click Get Started, and then basically it'll tell you the same thing. And then this one is a little bit different. This one, I don't think it has an npm package. I don't think so. I think you actually have to download UIKit and service it from your own application. Okay, but it basically has the same thing. It's buttons, and then this is how you use the buttons, and then you just make any color you want. Just, you know, they have these classes already, but you can make more. You can make more classes for colors and stuff like that. So I like UIKit because it's a little bit simpler, a little bit way lighter. It's way lighter than Material or Bootstrap, and it offers me a little bit more flexibility to how to do things instead of have to overwrite other classes, that because Bootstrap is going to have all kinds of classes already in it, and I have to constantly overwrite some things. There is the right way to overwrite things, by the way, and we're going to go over that. But in this course, because we are replicating the exact same thing that we did in React, and in my React course, we're going to go with Bootstrap so that we can do the exact same thing. Okay. All right, so I'm going to close this and close that. Keep this guy here. All right, and back up a little, back up a little more, back up a little more. There we go, and we're here on the npm install Bootstrap. So there's two things that you're gonna need actually. Bootstrap requires Bootstrap and requires jQuery. I hated that about Bootstrap. Why does it still need jQuery? But we're gonna do it anyway. So you're gonna grab here npm install Bootstrap, and you're gonna go to your application, and then you see how I have two different windows here. So just to show you how I did that, I'm gonna go ahead and kill this terminal. Click on this right here and hit that little thing, this icon, and it will split it so that you have this one that is running your server in here, and then this one that you're gonna be working with your application to install stuff. So we're gonna put npm install Bootstrap, and we're gonna save it to our dependencies, and you're gonna let it do its thing for a second. That's not gonna take too long. It's gonna recompile. Okay, should be done. All right, so now just to make sure that we're good, we're gonna open the package JSON and inspect it and make sure that it's there. All right, what's going on? Why is it? It's taking a little long. There you go. I must have not clicked on it. Okay, so there it is. It's Bootstrap 5.1. We're good. All right. The next thing you're gonna need is going to be jQuery. So same thing. npm. Come on now. What's it doing? Generated browsing application bundles. Okay. So come on, hurry up. Finish. I wonder if I can still type. I can still type. npm install jQuery, and same thing, save, and hit enter. Wait for it to, there it is. It should be here somewhere because I just saw it. Oh, up here. So here's jQuery. So good. So we have what we need, right? So now what we're going to use is, remember when I said in the last lesson, this Angular JSON, I was talking about the Angular JSON. So what Angular JSON does is basically it works with the compiler, and it does a lot of stuff for you that will compile during your build time or your runtime and things like that. So these right here, and I spoke briefly about these two sections right here, even this one as well. If you're gonna add a new folder for pictures or images or something like that, and you want it to be compiled into your build folder so you can send to your hosting company, you would add it in here, source / and then whatever the folder is named, whatever the folder is called. We're not doing that right now, but we are adding some new styles. So what we're going to do is we're going to add at the top, not on the bottom, at the top, because you want your styles to overwrite whatever is above it. So what we are going to do is we're going to add a new style sheet in here. We're going to do that, and then we're going to add a JavaScript as well. So we're going to do that, and we're going to grab that from, where is it? Right here. And let's see if they have okay. I'm trying to see if they have the address from where it's going to be, so that we don't have to find it manually. Okay, so it's, let's try this JavaScript here. Yeah, I don't don't see it. All right, no worries. So what you're going to do here is you're gonna find the styles folder for Bootstrap. So you're gonna go to your node modules and you're gonna look for Bootstrap, and that's in alphabetical order. And there it is, and you're gonna open that. So now we know that it's going to be, where is it? Where I put it? Right here. It's gonna be in node modules / there we go, Bootstrap, right there, / dist, the distribution folder, / CSS, / what's it called? It's called Bootstrap, right? Yeah, Bootstrap, / Bootstrap. There we go. Bootstrap. Actually, I believe I don't remember now if you're supposed to use SAS version of it. You might have to use the SAS version, but let me just make sure for sure. No, actually you don't. You use the one in the CSS folder. So, but what we are going to do is we're going to use the minified version of it. Okay, and that's this one right here, the minified version. So what it does basically, since you're not going to be overwriting anything in this particular file, might as well bring in the minified one, which is compacted and there's no space between words or anything like that. It makes it a little faster to compile and things like that. All right, and then in the script we're gonna bring in 2 different folders. In this one we're gonna go again to the node modules. I'm gonna copy this here. I'm gonna copy that, and then this time I'm gonna go to the JavaScript folder and I'm going to attach the Bootstrap. Actually, I want you to see what I'm picking up. Go to Json right here, dist, okay. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, but there's another dist inside of dist. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. This one. Okay, better. Alright, so in the JavaScript folder, you see this Bootstrap bundle right here. So we're gonna grab that Bootstrap bundle minified. So Bootstrap bundle, yep, Bootstrap bundle min.js. Now, what's the difference between the Bootstrap bundle and the regular Bootstrap minified JS? Is that Bootstrap bundle includes the proper JavaScript, which is what you will need for a lot of drop downs, and I think Moto Windows will use it as well. So if you don't have it, you're gonna have to include it separately. You're gonna have to download it separately and install it and include it as, you know, a separate thing. In bundle, you already get the proper included. So you have that, and then above that, actually, we're going to use, make sure I put a comma in there. Same thing. I'm gonna go to no module. Actually, this is in a different place. So no modules. Oops. The / jQuery. There it is. And that's going to also use the dist folder. And this one is just going to be. It's not gonna have no CSS or anything. So it's gonna be just jQuery.min.js. All right, cool. Hit enter. Okay, there you go. Yep, hit enter, and it'll start doing its own thing. So basically what it's doing right now is it's going to this place right here, and it's finding that, and these JavaScripts and compiling them together so that you can use it in Bootstrap. Okay, so it's generating all the application bundles down here. We're gonna let it do its thing, and we're gonna close this here because that's huge. And now that we have this, we can go ahead and close that, and we can go to the component, and now we're gonna go ahead and replace what we have here with an actual component from Bootstrap. So we're gonna open here, and we're gonna go to components, and we're going to add an nav bar. So we're gonna pick a nav bar from in there. As soon as it opens, there you go. And let's see which one we want to use. This one is good. So we're gonna grab this one right here, the entire navigation. Gonna copy that, and then I am going to replace what I have here right now with it. As soon as it finishes, there you go. As soon as it lets me, there we go, and hit enter. Cool. And go ahead and save that, and then we'll see what happens in here on the window after it compiles. We might have to do a little refresh because Angular is acting up a little. It's always been a little slower than other applications, so than other frameworks. A lot slower. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, this is acting up a lot more than I actually wanted to act up, but these are the things that happen. Okay, this is part of the job. Sometimes you deal with things crashing, things kind of acting up and being a little slower than normal. Your computer may not, may have a bunch of other processes that it's working on. So this is just things that happen all the time in the life of a developer, and you just gonna have to deal with it. So let me see. So what I'm going to do here to kind of process this faster is I'm going to hit Control C to stop that, and I'm going to go up, take the O out. Of course, I stopped the server, so it's going to break, and I'm going to ng serve it again. I'm going to reserve the compiler. Basically, I'm restarting the compiler so that maybe whatever was crashing, whatever was blocking the application from rendering, it will just stop, and it will build new again without issues. And there you go, compile successfully. So now I can restart this and see my changes, and here we go. So we're good to go. We have our navbar the way that Bootstrap has it, right? So we're gonna stop here because we covered a lot of stuff, but in the next video we're gonna work on how to modify Bootstrap within your application and make it a little bit your own thing. Okay, all right guys, I'll see you in the next one.